This is a Hugo Cornejo, VP of Design at Monzo. He's going to talk about the importance of creativity to the Monzo brand. This is going to be amazing. Have a massive round of applause for Hugo.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me through the headphones? Do I sound like a podcast? Like, is that kind of sound? I'm going to have my notes here. Okay. I've removed my badge because it's quite lame to be wearing it while you are on stage. I'm sorry. So I have my notes here. And there's a clicker. Okay. Cool. This is very weird because I hear the noise. And I haven't seen that many people in, like, I don't know, when we started the pandemic, like 7 years ago or something. So this is weird. Anyway, I'll do my best. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for being here, everybody. You know, there's another stage that is like the important one, right? Like the good one. I don't know why you're here. It's fine. So I have 4 things I want to get out of the way first. And I have my notes to not forget, even though I will probably. Oh, and I can grab this. I thought it was physically. So thanks to the organizers. Thanks a lot for having me. I started talking with them like more than a year ago because there was another event and at the end obviously got cancelled, and they still wanted me here, so thanks a lot for that. Second important thing is that I like to think that I'm a funny guy, okay? So whatever I say that you think it could be a joke, you need to laugh, okay? And I cannot hear you, so you need to be like very kind of like body language, okay? I need to see that you are like getting it and it's super funny. But now you might be wondering, oh, is this guy really funny? I don't know. Have you noticed that pointer there? It's not a mistake, it's not a pointer. It's part of a presentation. I was so worried that maybe there would be 2 pointers if someone actually left a real pointer. Did you get that one? No? Okay, let's go to the next. Very important as well, follow me on Twitter, okay? This is the reason why I come to these things, so please. And they're watching it online, I believe, as well. Is that the thing at the end? Is there a camera? There's no camera, probably not. Go to Twitter and search Hugo Monzo, and you can follow me, and that makes me happy. And the last one I have is, has it happened to you ever that you go to a conference to see someone from a company, and it turns out they don't work there anymore? Has that happened to you? And you feel like, oh, this fucker went here, whatever, and then that's me, okay? I don't work at Monzo anymore. But as of last week, but let's pretend we don't know that, okay? I'm representing the company, and I will tell you later what I'm doing next, but I'm going to tell you about Monzo, and yeah, I hope you like it. So, Monzo, it's a digital bank. We have 5 million customers in the UK, very good reputation, current accounts that are kind of topping the charts on customer satisfaction, and I've been there since the beginning. Okay, so I've been leading the design function for 6.5 years. So this was from the very beginning of the company as the only designer to basically lead a design organization with I think 30 people, 30 designers and researchers. So I've seen the company grow, and today what I want to bring you is like a couple of stories that I think are connected with creativity, and luck as well. I want to talk about good luck and like the things in which you might think you're doing your, like creativity is everything, but sometimes it's not. Like there's actually a luck factor that is very important in these things, and I want to tell you about that as well. So yeah, cards, whatnot. Like I think people know Monzo here in the UK. And this is the thing I was telling you. This is really cool. You get to put it on your website. Like every bank needs to say that Monzo is best. It's kind of funny. But yeah, and they're hiring, okay? In pretty much every position. I can imagine most of the people here are like marketing related, brand, designers, that kind of thing, probably. They're hiring all across the board, okay? Designers, marketing people. We have a new VP of marketing. She's amazing. So there's a new team being built. Get in there, okay? It's pretty cool. Oh, did I break it? No, is this working? Oh my God, the clicker stopped working. And this wasn't a joke. Someone has reset it. What happened? Okay. Is this all right? Yeah? Okay. I have control again. Okay. So I want to tell you about the Monzo cards, okay? The Monzo hot coral cards. And I think this is starting to be laggy. I'm missing something here. There you go. It's a story of which I believe it was more good luck than creativity. So the Monzo hot coral cards, I'm pretty sure many of you have them in your wallets and your purses. We've shipped 5 million of them, okay? Like 5 million users in the UK. I designed it. It's pretty cool. I think it's widely considered. This sounds a bit like not very humble to say, but I think it's widely considered one of the nicest cards up there, and like probably after the original Amex was like the first banking card that someone would actually want to have in the pocket, right? And I could come and tell you some story about like, oh, how creative we were and whatnot, and it wouldn't be true. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you a story of how we designed that and what went behind. I feel a bit emotional about it because this is my last talk ever talking about Monzo. I've worked there for a long time, okay? So yeah, I'll tell you the truth of everything that went there. And I should be looking at my notes because maybe I'm forgetting stuff that is important. This happens all the time. Then I go home, I look at my notes and I say, fuck, I didn't mention that, which is tricky. How is this going? It's super weird. Is it going well? Do I see smiles? Yeah, thank you. So, okay, so I'll tell you what happened and hopefully the slides help me. So these were the first iteration of the Monzo hot coral cards. At the time, the company was called Mondo. We had to change our name and whatnot. But from the very beginning, we had these cards that are kind of glow in the dark with black light. So if you're in a club or whatever, they're very, very bright. In essence, it uses some material that reflects UV light. Okay, so it turns invisible light into visible light. So that's why they are just brighter than anything else, because nothing can compete with that, right? So at the beginning of Monzo, we wanted to start a bank. The first thing we did was to create a prepaid card. Okay, so we worked with a partner that they had those crunch is called. They had those black cards, and we made our first iteration with like very basic black cards. And then we contacted card manufacturers. Okay, so these are companies that their business is to produce the plastic thing. Okay, and they came to the office with binders, with like samples of other cards that they have made, okay? And at the time, this was like 2015, all the banking cards look like this, okay? I'm sure you remember these things, like this kind of like image of like silver and kind of like the world or some kind of like, it was kind of tacky, right? Like they wanted to, which is, it's very traditional in banks, right? Like they do this thing of almost like neoclassical, right? Like they have these buildings that try to represent like the parliament or whatever, right? Like give that idea of oh, we've been here forever, blah, blah, blah. So they wanted their cards to look like that, okay? So all the samples of this company, our partner, manufacturer, were these kind of things, right? And for me as a designer, I'm not trained as a traditional graphic designer or print designer, but I had some experience, and definitely this is not something I wanted to do. And when looking through their binders, at the end, they had gift cards as well, because it's the same plastic. So the cards that you buy on H&M or whatever, it has a barcode behind. And they had this one from Debenhams, rest in peace. And these folks, they had neon cards, okay? So this fluorescent thing, UV light that I was telling you. And they didn't have the color that we use at Monzo, that is hot coral. It's very similar to someone's jacket there. Sorry for flashlight. Go look at that lady. So they didn't have that particular shade, but it gave me the idea of, hey, wait a minute, like, is this something we could use in a plastic card? Before I had worked in ticketing, and in tickets I had used like these neon inks because they are harder to forge. Okay, so like if someone tries to like forge a ticket for Adele or whatever, it was a bit harder because those things are more difficult to source and whatnot. So I had some experience doing that, and I thought, okay, is this something we could do? So we put it to a team at the time. This was like, I don't know, third week at Monzo or something. Okay, like we were 10 people in the company, 10, 12 people, and we knew that this card that we were doing at the beginning, the one that would replace this thing, needed to be like a prototype, okay? And I remember seeing these, I'm sure you've seen it if you like cars, when they make some new model and they do some color that is like, it's not real, right? It's like, this is a prototype, it's just to be flashy, like whoever buys this Mercedes, well, maybe now it's different, but like usually it would be silver or whatever, right? So we wanted to convey that idea. So we said, okay, maybe this is something we could do and have our banking cards for the prototype to be that super shiny hot coral, as we call it. And this is how the decision was made, okay, believe it or not. Like, this is Slack, and I went to the office with a Pantone book. It's one of these books that has all the real colors, right, that then you can match. Took a picture, which kind of defeats the point, because neon colors, you cannot take a picture of them, right? Like, the whole point is that you need to see it physically. But I was showing it to everybody in the team, and then I did a couple mock-ups of how the theme would look like in the colors that we were more, like we felt, think that there are not that many neon colors, right? So you start like from blue, that is kind of Barclays, is already taken, and you had, shades or brands, right? NatWest and whatnot. So at the end, like, the range wasn't that available, to be honest. We focused where we thought we could be like unique, I guess, or distinctive. And yeah, popped it on Slack. This Daniel guy is one of our engineers. He's still there, amazing guy. And he said, oh, middle one is my favorite. And that's kind of how we made the decision, okay? So there was no brand company involved and like, 6 months of analysis of what the world needs and like Nike fashion and whatever to decide. I'm sorry to let you down, but this was like startup crap moving fast, and it turned out well, right? Like that kind of thing. So yeah, there was a lot of good luck in here. And the thing is, like, there's good luck, but then the design, I'm actually quite proud of it because it's very simple, okay? So even though the color is completely out there, not so much now, but at the time, but the design of the card is as simple as it gets. Like, the way I think about it is like if the card was made of the material, if that makes sense. So this design principle of unicity, right? Like, it's this thing like why an iMac looks better than a Dell computer or something, right? Because it's just one piece. So I really wanted that. And if you look at a card, most of the things that are in there, we cannot challenge them, right? So it's like the chip needs to be there, the contactless thing is standard and needs to be there, MasterCard logo needs to be there, expiration needs to be there, debit mark, whatever, and the back exactly the same. So the only thing that we brought was the Monzo logo. And in fact, in the first iterations, was very, very subtle. If I go back to, oh, this is quite laggy. There you go. It even says, I don't know if you can see it, it even says like alpha in there because it was the alpha card, and that was like a spot UV, like one of these things that is like transparent. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that even though we were very lucky because people really liked them, and we were the first to think on using one of these colors, which right now are quite common, right? Like other banks have the same kind of thing, like all this stuff, right? But at the time it was quite unique. But the work we put together, and this was my computer at the time, I think was quite rigorous, and it was creative in a very good way. So kind of like mixing both. I guess I'm trying to say it's one of those things of like being right at the right time and whatnot, right? Like all the things. Does that make sense? Does it sound like a good story? And this is something that is cool. So I don't know if you've noticed, that logo is different, that Monzo thing. So I designed that, right? And at the beginning, I knew that we would need a proper corporate identity, right? So we hired a designer down the line, and this, oh, they're taking pictures. Can I have one? And yeah, look, then those appear in materials and whatever, and you get to show them home, like when that day, that Thursday you went. Anyway, so we had that logo, and we hired a graphic designer. 5 minutes, I'm consuming this, oh my God. Okay, it's good, it's good. The second story, it's faster. So we hired this guy, and he designed a corporate identity, more traditional, right? And the idea is that this would be the Monzo card. So the idea was that the hot coral cards were going to be like a few hundred, and we would then replace them with like the good card. And that's when people really liked the Monzo card, and we said, okay, let's not be stupid. Let's keep pushing on this that seems to be working. And we just kind of like flipped it around and said, no, let's build our brand on top of something that is already working. And this never saw the light of day. I think it's the first time I show it. It was cool. You're going to see there was some reflections and whatnot. It was cool, but probably wouldn't have worked the same way. And this idea that I was telling you of like the card being made of the material, is something that Monzo still uses. Like we have this premium, super hot card, metallic, and the concept is the same, right? Like it's a slate of metal in this case, instead of a slate of hot coral, if that makes sense. Okay, so more good luck than creativity. There was hard work, but there was no like genius behind. The second story, and since I only have 5 minutes, I'm gonna fly, is about the brand, like these things of like emoji, and I think that was more creativity than good luck, okay? That's the kind of thing where you might feel like, oh, Monzo have been very lucky, but actually no, there's been a lot of hard work in making those things work. So yeah, emoji when you make a purchase. I think that most banks, at least I'm from Spain originally, and my experience with banks was this kind of stuff, right? Like nothing like this, right? So we knew that we needed to show that we were different. We had an amazing tone of voice. We published it, how to communicate, how to talk with the people. Super cute animations when you open the app to show you that your card is coming to you. I've been showing these things forever. We had them from the beginning. It just tells you that we care and that we put the effort and sweat in the details. Have another one. Like now the card is arriving and it's being parachuted. That's really very different to the pen with the little chain, right? Like, and those things are pure creativity and hard work, like using emoji to ask people how are they feeling about the product. This I will skip it, like some crap that we used to do. I used to teach design to the company, so everybody in the company would know how to do these things. We would send the cards from our office in person, okay? Like if you got a Monzo card early days, probably I've wrapped it, okay? Like I put it on the envelope, the fulfillment for you. And the envelopes that now are very common, like we don't use like glue at all, so it just goes slots in, it's very environmentally friendly. We would bring people to our office all the time and learn from them. We would bring them for parties when we had milestones. We talk about our product publicly. We made these cute things, golden tickets, because at the beginning Monzo was a waiting list thing, it was like an invitation only. And we made real golden tickets that you could receive and whatnot. And it was super cool. Integrations with other companies that were cool, like Deliveroo. Talking constantly with our customers and trying to learn more about them and how things were working for them. So this is me contacting someone. And all that, I believe, is the creative work that you don't get to see. Like you would never see this, right? Like me spending a lot of time talking with people. And you might think that's good luck, right? So I don't know, that was the talk. I think it makes sense. The thing I was telling you, so I don't work at Monzo anymore. Can I tell you what I do now? It takes like 30 seconds. So I started a company with a co-founder, and we've announced it today, actually. It's called Pack Fleet, and it's a courier, okay? So for businesses to deliver goods, starting here in London. And we think we can do really cool things like posting your deliveries when you're on holidays, or integrating with Airbnb so we know when you're on holidays and we don't send you things home. Or if we are going to deliver something late in the day, tell you, hey, is your baby sleeping? We can not knock on the door and kind of leave it quietly on the doormat. We're very excited, and we're going to be hiring all across the board. So go to the address, follow us on Twitter, all that stuff. And thank you very much for having listened to me, and have a great day.
Hugo, thank you so much for a brilliant presentation. Congrats on the new venture. It's going to be really interesting to see that play out. I don't know about anyone else, but I was really surprised to see you get so emotional. And there was a moment there when you simply kind of overcome with emotion in a sense. I just want to know why. Like, yes, you were there for a long time, and a lot of these designs were your baby, and it all came from you. But kind of what is going on for you from an emotional perspective there? Why is it such a huge shift for you in that sense?
Wow.
And thanks for being so honest about that.
Yeah. Have you like I had never worked at a company for this long, okay? Have you ever worked like more than 5 years at the same place? Yeah, some dude here, but you're not the youngest here, right? Like, so that makes sense. I don't know, like it feels like home. I've been there for a long, long time. Like I'm part of the furniture, like the company, or I was, it's 1,500 people. Like that means that 1,500 people minus 12 had joined after me, right? Like that's very weird. Like people know who you are, you have a lot of responsibility, all these things. And to many people, even like my professional presence online, like Twitter, all these things, I'm kind of like the Monzo guy. So that's super weird as well. It's like, oh, I'm not that person anymore. I'm here because of Monzo. Like, they wouldn't want me, right? Like, they want Monzo, someone from Monzo to come. Like, so that makes it very emotional on its own because, I don't know, you don't know, like, I mean, the team and the people, obviously, but like, even when you think professionally, it's a bit like respected writers that then they go and publish something anonymously to see if they can make it, like, you know what I mean? Like, so maybe there's a bit of that. So I don't know. And also it's weird to be with people again, so I guess that also helps. But there's many friendly people, so that helps. Does that answer your question?
It does, thank you. So just last question, because you guys haven't answered any questions. I said ask questions on the app. Nothing.
You can do it on the app. There's an app. It works very well.
They were so impressed with your
no questions.
Your big reveals.
I answered everything they wanted to know.
Another question for you.
Okay.
So if there's someone out here watching this talk who thinks they want to follow in your footsteps.
Well, I couldn't hear. I don't have headphones. You said?
If someone wants to follow in your footsteps.
Yeah.
And like replicate your career in a startup in design, what would be your advice?
All right. That's a good question. So my background is in engineering. I'm an engineer in computer science. So I used to work as an engineer for quite a few years and then studied design and kind of like human-centered design. I would say probably the stage when you enter at a company matters a lot, actually. So at Monzo, I was there from the beginning, and that gave me the opportunity to do things that, quite frankly, I couldn't do today, right? Or someone with the experience I had at the time couldn't do today because the stakes are just too high, right? Like, we're a regulated bank, we have tons of customers, I cannot be doing shit that breaks, right? So I would say if you want to do that kind of job, probably join a company that is very, very early stages. I was telling you about one that started today, like that kind of company, right? Like, if you want to do that, knowing that there's tons of trade-offs, okay? Like it's very likely you will fail. Most startups fail, but the opportunities of learning, doing something kind of like from the ground are very, very important. So yeah, I guess you're trading off the opportunity of impact on something that's very small, but that you can define that shape forever versus working at Facebook or whatever, right? And have a lot of impact, but on something that's already very well defined. So yeah, does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Can I have a massive round of applause for Hugo?
Thank you, folks.